You hear this one a lot. Science has proven evolution, therefore evolution is true. Since evolution is true and Christians don't believe it, then Christians don't believe science and they aren't rational people. Really, let's put that claim to the test.
Okay, let's do it.
First off, evolution in the sense that things change is evident. No rational person disputes that. Therefore, rational Christians believe it. We can observe change.
Okay, if you accept that things change over time, then you've accepted the basic principle of evolution. Evolution simply suggests that small changes over a long period of time can lead to large changes, eventually leading to new species over millions of years. So all we need to do now is show how these changes can occur.
But evolution in the sense that life came from non-life and then that life began to randomly generate new genetic information and over time it eventually produced humans is something entirely different and something that quite honestly doesn't hold up against science. In other words, evolution in the sense of molecules to man is not scientifically plausible and therefore should not be viewed as scientific fact.
The theory of evolution does not include abiogenesis, which is how life initially began. It simply accounts for the genetic variation and change we see in nature, all of which is supported through science. The term molecules to man evolution suggests that the theory of evolution is inclusive of abiogenesis. However, no conclusive scientific theory has been accepted for the origins of life.
Quite honestly, it is in great opposition to science, that is, observational science, the kind of science we can test and repeat and use our five senses to understand.
Science is not limited to the use of human senses. Human senses are extremely limited and unreliable. How would it be possible to determine the existence of an atom if we were limited to just 5 senses? The scientific method uses measurable and repeatable experimentation to examine the things we can't see and feel.
Science demonstrates that over time, living organisms lose genetic information. They don't gain it.
This is simply a poor understanding of genetics. We cannot think of life as a computer code which requires new lines of code to be added in order for it to grow in complexity. All life is built around the same building blocks of DNA and RNA, which can be arranged in different ways to produce different outcomes. The same way an alphabet can be used to make an endless variation of words and sentences without the need to add new letters.
That same science demonstrates that life doesn't arise from non-life. Follow along if you would. Fact 1. There is no known observable process by which new genetic information can be added to an organism's genetic code. None. That pretty much refutes evolution right away because there's no way to go from a fish to an amphibian without adding new information, right?
Like we just mentioned, there is no need to add new information to the genetics of an animal to bring about change. Genetic mutation is simply an error in reproduction of the same genetic code, resulting in different organization of the previous DNA, which leads to small changes in that generation, such as slightly different color of skin or spots instead of stripes. These minor changes, which we can observe very easily, are evolution in progress. These same changes, which seem almost insignificant within a species, can lead to a completely new species when they occur hundreds of thousands of times over millions of years.
If living organisms cannot produce new genetic information, how can anything gradually change into something of higher intelligence or form or complexity? That is, how can anything evolve from an amoeba to a man without adding new genetic information? The answer, of course, is that it can't, plain and simple.
We've already mentioned how DNA can be rearranged to create new genetic codes, but I would like to address the concept of an amoeba becoming a man. The way this is worded makes it sound radical, but the rate of change is really extremely slow and consistent. Look at this image. When does red become blue? As you can see, it is hard to pinpoint a certain position where the colours actually change as it is so gradual. Going back to evolution, we have a constant rate of small mutations, which was already acknowledged at the start of the video, and just adding long periods of time to ultimately wind up with this degree of change.
Now, some have speculated and they have imagined all kinds of things, and they brought in artists to produce creative renderings based on guesses, and they have been successful in telling a very convincing story that humans evolved from ape-like creatures. But those are just drawings, people. They're just stories.
Drawings aren't the evidence that the theory of evolution is based off. Evolution is based on fossil records, retroviral DNA, geographic information, using sedimentary layers to observe whether things coexisted, mitochondrial DNA, embryology, homologous structures, vestigial organs, and a large list of many more. No one is presenting pictures of evolution as the primary evidence. To make it sound like that is what scientists are doing is just dishonest.
But what we really observe is humans are humans and apes are apes.
Alongside a constant array of mutations and a large list of other observations listed previously.
Now, if Fact 1 buried evolutionary thinking deep into the Precambrian soil, this next fact, Fact 2, tosses so much sediment on it that not even the greatest team of paleontologists with the latest subterranean gizmo could dig up the remains. Check this out. Never, again, never has it been observed that life can come from non-life. So
Abiogenesis is not evolution. Abiogenesis is not evolution. Abiogenesis is not evolution. I really don't enjoy repeating this. Yes, science doesn't have a mechanism for abiogenesis, and it doesn't claim to have one. So what? All that means is scientists can't claim to have a rock-solid answer for abiogenesis yet, which they don't. Biological evolution still stands.
So, here are two major scientific evidences against evolution. I reiterate for clarity, life has never been observed to come from non-life.
I reiterate for clarity, abiogenesis is not evolution, abiogenesis is not evolution, abiogenesis is not evolution.
And there is no known, observable process by which new genetic information can be added to the genetic code of an organism.
Again, genetic variation does not come from the introduction of new information, but rather the rearrangement of previous information which we see in genetic mutation and the exchange of genetic code between breeding couples. Let's take a look at the alphabet analogy one more time. You can take a number of existing letters and arrange them in a different order to create a totally new word. DNA and RNA are made up of 5 nucleotides: adenine, cytosine, guanine, thymine, and uracil, and these nucleotides are put in specific orders along very long DNA or RNA strands. All that has to be done is a few exchanges in the order of these RNA and DNA strands, and it can result in a totally different outcome. The same as rearranging letters of the alphabet can create new words without using new letters.
So, molecules to man evolution doesn't really make scientific sense. Yet we are all here, and life is all around us in various forms. Although evolution cannot account for this, the Bible can.
Even if evolution can't explain something or is proven to be untrue, that doesn't make the Bible right. The Bible would have to be independently verified and proven to be true before it can be accepted as fact.
The Bible reveals that the all-powerful, all-knowing, supernatural God created the heavens and the earth out of nothing, and all life according to its kinds, that is, each with its own set of genetic information. So, again, what the Bible reveals makes sense of what we see and understand. Evolution does not. Enough said.
Cool story, bro. Could've used a dragon. Enough said. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel for weekly videos. If you have a video you would like us to break down, let us know in the comments section or on Facebook or Twitter. Like this video and share it around to help us raise the bar of public discourse.